ToeJam and Earl was released in 1991 for the Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis. The Genesis was the North American name for the Mega Drive, because the name Mega Drive had already been registered in the States. In ToeJam and Earl, you assume the control of one of two alien rappers who have crash-landed on Earth. Your objective is to collect pieces of your wrecked spaceship so you can get back to your home planet of Funkatron. The game's design was heavily influenced by the RPG Rogue in terms of its randomly generated levels and items. This design decision was greatly important towards the success of ToeJam and Earl. At the time, roguelike elements such as randomly generated levels were not seen in many games, and the games that did feature these elements were mostly only available on personal computers. Games like Rogue, NetHack, and Moria, which influenced the design of games like Diablo, also influenced developer Greg Johnson, who conceived of and later developed ToeJam and Earl, with the help of programmer Mark Forsaker. Johnson wanted the procedurally generated gameplay elements from Rogue, along with lighthearted, personable characters and an approachable, easy-to-understand game. Following the formation of Johnson-Vorsinger Productions, they approached Sega of America with their game idea, armed with landscape drawings to demonstrate the procedurally generated levels. Looking for innovative games and new mascots to compete with Nintendo, Sega agreed to publish the game. The designers of the game considered ToeJam and Earl a two-player game with a one-player option. The game featured an innovative split-screen mode, which would split the screen when players were far away from each other, but would merge into one screen when ToeJam and Earl were close enough together. The game places players on islands floating in space, which represent Earth. You advance levels by finding and using elevators on each island. You have access to a map for each level, which is covered up by tiles until you explore that area of the level, or find telephones which reveal map tiles. You pick up items which are wrapped as presents, so you don't know what they do until you open and use them. The effect can be good, like increasing your speed, or it can be bad, killing you instantly. These presents are randomly placed on each level. After you use an item, the name of that item will be revealed the next time you pick it up. The enemies in the game are Earthlings. Some enemies will chase you, some are on set paths, others will just immobilize you. Unless you have tomatoes to throw at them, you typically just want to avoid them, which usually isn't too hard. There are also some allied characters that you will meet. If you fall off the edge of an island, you drop down to the level below, and will have to locate the elevator again, or use an item to get back up. ToeJam and Earl received much critical acclaim for its innovation, humor, and fantastic music by composer John Baker, but Sega deemed it a commercial failure because of low initial sales. The game built a cult following and was aided by a spike in sales during Christmas of '91, following the release of Sonic the Hedgehog. ToeJam and Earl eventually became one of Sega's second-tier mascots, behind Sonic, and the game was considered one of the Genesis's most important exclusive games. In 1992, Johnson and Vorsinger began work on a sequel, adding more terrain variety and indoor areas, but Sega was not impressed and believed the game to be unmarketable. The team redesigned the game as a platformer, which would be more easily marketable. The second game, ToeJam and Earl: Panic on Funkatron, was released in 1993 to largely critical success. However, fans of the original game were disappointed by the change in direction. A third ToeJam and Earl game was in development for the Sega Dreamcast but was cancelled. However, a beta of the game can be found online. The third installment of the franchise was eventually released for the original Xbox in 2002. This game was a return to the style of the first game, but generated mixed reviews and poor sales figures. Johnson-Vorsinger Productions was forced to disband following the poor sales of the third game. Greg Johnson continues to make games and owns the intellectual property rights to ToeJam and Earl, and Mark Vorsinger currently provides career and life coaching. ToeJam and Earl is one of the best gaming experiences I can remember from my childhood. The humor combined with the music and randomly generated levels meant it was an easy game to play for hours. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos on the Just Okay Gamers channel. We also have a podcast that you can find at justokgamers.com.
Big Earl, wreck, jamming, wreck.